Here's a video of a guy I saw saying that Dan McClellan is not a scholar of the Bible. He's actually a lefty activist.
Dan McClellan likes to claim that he follows the data over dogma. But if that's the case, then why are his opinions so predictable?
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'm going to squint my eyes and smirk a little bit to show you how he's wrong.
Myths and the theories and the frameworks that they had anciently to explain sexual desire have absolutely no relevance whatsoever to anyone's sexual ethic today. Hey everybody, I am frequently asked what the Bible's position on abortion is, and there is no such position in the Bible. Whiteness is a religion in and of itself that a lot of American Christians are committed to.
You see, Dan is an activist against conservative evangelicalism.
And that's the message you took from those? I mean, from my point of view, right, the first one is about homosexuality and the idea that same-sex relationships were not thought of the same way in biblical times. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can have a society that doesn't understand that same-sex relationships are a thing. And if I wanted to understand that, I would go to people who study those times and maintain that scholarship and have an idea of it, which is Dan. And then the second one, I don't feel like, from my point of view, I don't feel like that is a predictable stance. I think a predictable stance is trying to say that the Bible says abortion is okay, usually going with whatever the passage is about if a woman is accused of infidelity and then the priest makes up some magic potion out of floor dirt and this and that, and possibly induces an abortion, something. I don't know what it is, but saying that the Bible has no stance on abortion does not seem entirely predictable to me. And for the third one, you very nearly got me. I mean, you might notice with my clock here that this is a couple hours after the last clip. And the reason is because I got this whole video together, and then I exported it to YouTube, and I was done. But then I thought about it for a minute. I was like, is Dan actually saying that this is true? Seemed odd. So I went back, and I found the original video that he made. I'll link it below. And he wasn't saying that this is true. He was saying he read the book The Religion of Whiteness, and that is specifically what he was talking about. And then he spent 7 minutes talking about the data that is in the book that supports the point that the authors have made. Like, for example, here's this graph. There were 4 different questions that they asked respondents that had to do with things in the Bible, and they're split up by responses from white, Hispanic, black people. And the first one was, the Bible says you shouldn't curse. Do you agree with that? And roughly all groups kind of were even on that. But then it went to the next 3 questions were about, do you think minorities should be protected as the Bible says in these passages? And do you think that foreigners should be allowed in your lands as it says in these Bible passages? And the third one I don't remember right now. And you can see there is a clear bump down that fewer white respondents responded in the positive, and suddenly the white people were deciding that no, that part of the Bible doesn't really apply. And I don't know, it's all an interesting discussion, but Dan is just reporting the data as is shown in the book. So for you to just slip this in here in the way that you did really feels disingenuous.
And Latter-day Saints often appreciate his content because sometimes we have critiques of overzealous conservative evangelicalism.
I am unaware of that, but I will admit that I don't pay a lot of attention to conservative Latter-day Saints. I would like to see them trying to rein in the more extreme factions. I would like to see examples.
But let's stop pretending that Dan is some objective scholar. He's an activist. That's why his opinions are so predictable.
I mean, opinion's fine, but Dan's been pretty clear about what he does as he comes to the internet and reports kind of what the current scholarship is. He says many times what it generally is. If he has an opinion that does not agree with the consensus, and he gives references. He will show on the screen the other scholars that are discussing the same topics, and, he does give me, at least, a good view of when it's a majority view and when it's just some people saying it. I've looked at some of those references, and I can understand what he's saying. He does seem to be reporting what the consensus is. So, I mean, if you're going to take it that his reporting of the scholarly consensus of what is in the Bible and the actual Bible's intent, and you're going to say that those things that he talks about go against your conservative ethics, then